My name is Sinead Hewson, and I'm the founder of Unconventional Doctorates. And this brainstorm will help you as a doctoral candidate to prioritize your activities and get ready for this summer. So, a little bit about me. I'm the author of The Mature Student's Guide to Completing a Doctorate, and I'm here today because I struggled managing time and work and family during the summer breaks when I was working on my doctorate. And I came up with ways of working in order to have time to get the work done and also to have time with my family. And I did that, for example, by getting up early in the morning, doing my doctoral work in the morning, and then when my daughter was awake, then I would go and do the kind of nice summer activities. But we all have different priorities and different responsibilities going forward. And what I have for you today is a framework to help you brainstorm about what I could do over the summer or what I could do between now and September in order to catch my breath and recharge my batteries and progress further on my doctorate. Okay. The exercise itself takes about 45 minutes. And what I'm going to do is present you with a series of questions where you can pause the recording and write things down. But before that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk you through some doctoral completion triggers, which were identified during one-to-one interviews that I conducted with doctoral candidates, people who dropped out of programs, as well as supervisors, examiners, and employers. And their input is actually what formed the content of the Mature Student's Guide to Completing a Doctorate. And I think it's important to look at this aspect of time out versus getting things done, especially when we look at the health and well-being of the academic community, the research community, and people who are working and have multiple responsibilities and being pulled in many directions. So this aspect is really, really important. But it's also important to own your doctorate, to actually go, this is my work, rather than being a victim of the process. And it's useful to brainstorm and plan ways to manage your chunks of time so that you get the work done, rather than having to apologize all the time for support or feeling that you're on the back foot. You can reach out to me for questions at any time. My name is Sinead Hewson, and you can contact me either through LinkedIn, where I'm listed as Sinead Hewson, SINEADHEWSON, or you can email me at unconventionaldoctorates.com. So my email is sineadhewson@unconventionaldoctorates.com. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly go through the triggers for doctoral completion. Focus on the why, own the doctorate, and be clear in what's expected. That's pretty much the motivational driver for you to get the work done. Secondly, you need to be organized, because well begun is half done. Treat your doctorate as a project, and also invest in resources and structure to get things done. So that could be having a proper set of glasses. It could be setting up your desk so you can work well. But it's also about the structure of your day and how you work and manage family, yourself, and your work. The third completion trigger is progress, because finished is better than perfect. Own the process, project manage your work. A doctorate runs between 4 and 7 years, so it's a big chunk of work. So track progress and recognize where you're going. Okay. And finally, and this was the most important piece that came through in the one-to-one interviews, is this aspect of self. Focus on yourself, love your doctorate, and connect back to the why. Because as one respondent said, on the really bad days, when you connect back to the why, you remember why you're doing this and you keep going. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the challenges that you're facing between now and September. And I'm using as a framework the exercise which is on page 78 of the book, The Mature Student's Guide to Completing a Doctorate. And what I want you to do is to get a pen and paper. So put the machine on pause and get a pen and paper. And then what you're going to do is you're going to write down all of your challenges on a blank page or on Post-its, or if you've got a whiteboard, write it on a whiteboard and write down everything that springs to mind. Okay, so I'm getting you to write this by hand rather than typing. So write it down and write down things that relate to you in relation to your family, in relation to your work, in relation to your resources and so on. So pause the recording and write those down. So now that you've written down all of the challenges, the list can look very overwhelming, and don't worry, we're going to condense it a little bit later in the exercise, so you'll have these chunks of activity that you can focus on. But I'm just going to stretch this a little bit, and I'm using the Wheel of Life framework, which is on page 231 of the book. And what I want you to do is we're going to look at kind of different aspects of your life and things that you need to prioritize or consider between now and September. And I'll prompt each one, and then you're going to pause, you're going to write down 3 important things, and then you'll move on to the next piece. So the first piece is around career or the doctoral process itself. Okay. What are the 3 most important priorities between now and September that you need to focus on? Pause the recording and write it down. What are the 3 most important priorities in relation to friends and family that you need to focus on between now and September? So pause the recording and write it down. What are the 3 most important priorities between now and September for recreation and fun? Between now and September, pause the recording and write it down. And when we look at spiritual growth and we look at personal growth, what are the 3 most important priorities for you between now and September? Pause the recording and write it down. And when you look at the physical environment, whether it's in your living environment, in your work environment, or even outside in your balcony or terrace or patio, look at your physical environment and identify 3 priorities between now and September. Pause the recording and write them down. And when we look at significant others, which are family, intimate partners, and close friends, what are the 3 most important priorities for them and for you between now and September? Reflect on things like the support that you can give them and the support that they can give you. Pause the recording and write it down. And when you look at your own health and well-being, what are the most important priorities for you between now and September? Pause the recording and write it down. And when we look at money or income and career and revenue coming in, what are your important priorities between now and September? Have you got a buffer of money to allow you to take time out for a vacation? Do you need to earn some money or work in some chunks of time in order to get revenue in so you're free to work on your doctorate later? Have a reflection, pause the recording, and think about the 3 most important priorities in relation to money. Okay. So you probably have a very long list and possibly a very overwhelming list at the moment. And what you're going to do is you're going to put them maybe on a table if you have them written on paper, or up on a wall if it's up on the whiteboard. And what I'd like you to do is to pause for a moment and cluster these challenges or activities or tasks into themes or packages. Just do so, and do so with kind of the instinct of the first things that come to mind. Okay? Pause the recording and do that. And now that you've clustered these challenges into themes or packages, have a look and just look at the bigger picture here and see, is there a pattern? Is there a particular challenge that dominates? Is there something there where you can see a pattern of activity? And try and describe that challenge in 1 sentence. So you could record it on your phone or you could write it down in big letters. Most of the people that I've met who highlight this focus on, I need to make more time for myself, but you might find a different challenge. So pause the recording and reflect on this. Great. So catch your breath again and either grab a cup of tea or coffee and then come back and look at the challenges again and go, okay, if there was one challenge which, if it was addressed, could make life easier for me or resolve a challenge for me at the same time, what could that be? Okay, pause the recording and write it down. I find this aspect really interesting because this can be things like organizing babysitters, for example. It might be organizing support for maybe caring responsibilities if you have to have blocks of time where you need to really deep think. Or it might even be going, I can't do my work at home, I need to go to my local library. They're very practical things and don't necessarily have to cost a lot of money. It could also be that you're kind of going, actually, I'm getting tired. I need a week off. I need a break from this. And what could I do to have a break, even if money is tight? Okay. So have a look at that. So, which challenge is my number one challenge? And then what you're going to do is you're going to take another 15, maybe 30 minutes to kind of go, okay, what are the most useful insights from this task? So when I look at these challenges, what can I do about them? Okay. And how can I structure the way that I work and the way I plan my activity so that I can move forward with my doctorate and I can do so in a healthy way and also in a way that will actually be good for me and my family and my friends. So pause the recording and actually focus on the insights and the next steps or three actions that you could take and by when. Okay? Pause the recording and write that down. Fantastic. So you'll find these in the book, which you can have in the hard copy or on Vital Space in the ebook format. And I hope that it was of use to you. But I also have a fifth completion trigger, which is about community. A lot of the doctoral candidates that I spoke to, especially the doctorates who are mature students, felt and expressed a sense of isolation in their work because they'd be in their home environments or in their work environments and especially if it's not an academic one, people didn't necessarily know or kind of have empathy with exactly what you're going through, especially when you're doing this big chunk of work. So we set up a community in order to support people in that area and just to give a sense of positive support going forward. Because a doctorate is all about your own personal transformation. It isn't just about creating a new piece of innovation or about creating a thesis or a body of work. It's also about you and how you change and how you critically analyze and review everything in the world around you. And it's nice to be part of a community of people who are going through a similar experience. So you're very welcome to join the community. The QR code is here. Please like and share this and join the community. And we also have a beta program running as well. Also, the book is out now, so you can see that it's in hard copy and electronic format. And coming soon, there's also going to be a Time to Write program, which is focused on writing habits and techniques for developing a thesis or developing an article. And when you click in on the QR code, if you click on the tick box that says beta program, I'll be able to send you the information on that. So please take the time to do that. Or if you know somebody who's going through a doctorate, please encourage them to join the beta program. So again, I wish you very best of luck in your process. If you've any questions, please feel free to like and share this recording and also reach out to me. My name is Sinead Hewson from unconventionaldoctorates.com, and I want to see a more diverse talent pool of doctorates around the world. And I hope that this small action helps people who are thinking of stopping to go, you know what, I'm going to continue and I'm going to move forward and add to the conversation. So have a lovely day, and it's lovely talking to you. Bye bye.